What's up, Brewers listeners? That was my total, Twitch. Hey, what's up, everybody? Intro.
I loved it.
What up, boy? What up? Yeah, exactly. So we are here in Worcester. And if people who are across the country were wondering how you say this city.
Worcester.
All right, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's how you say it, not Worcester.
Nope.
No.
We've known that our whole life. Well, you were from Vermont, so you probably called it
No, but I went to school in Worcester, actually.
When you were applying to school, what did you call it?
Well, Worcester. My family's actually from the Worcester area.
Oh,
originally.
so you're
my parents
you were
are the
educated
weird
on
ones
it.
that moved up to Vermont, so I actually knew. I was educated. Yep. Yeah.
We clearly were because it's Worcester, not Worcester.
Worcester. Well, see, at least I don't call it Worcester. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's better.
It could be worse.
100%.
Thanks.
So, if you've been following our Western Mass, Central Mass, right?
Central Mass.
Podcast series, which is the last 3 episodes that you've heard, we made the smart decision to start with a sessionable beer.
Yes.
Very sessionable.
And
then we went to one that was
in the middle.
Yeah. And then we were like, we're going to go to Greater Good.
Because, why not?
And in their title is Greater Good Imperial Brewing Company.
Yep.
So we're really smart.
Yeah. Think about that for a second.
Yeah. All right. But I love their beer. Actually, the Pulp Daddy is one of the beers that I feel like I've gone to like multiple beer fests, right? And that's the one that I'm like, I always want that one.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's good. It's refreshing. And then I forget that it's like 9%, right?
8.
8, yeah.
Close.
I have 2 or 3, and I'm proposing to my girlfriend. She's saying no. I'm just kidding.
Pulp Daddy, making dreams come true.
New tap.
Yeah, my drunken.
In your dreams.
Yeah, in my dreams. So we're here with Colleen and JT. What's up?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Good. We came in from the rain, so thank you for the shelter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for the company. Yeah.
You guys are lonely, right? So it's
Hey, the tap room's pretty crowded today for a rainy Tuesday.
It was.
So
I was huddled in the corner, just trying to find space.
I think that's because people forgot what rain is after the summer we've had so far.
Seriously.
Or just never thought it was going to happen again.
Right.
They were like, don't have to worry.
You got to celebrate.
Yeah, well,
right?
how many times have the weather people said, like, it's going to rain, and it hasn't rained?
Yeah.
A sprinkle, maybe.
It's raining, though.
So when they say scattered thunderstorms, it's not going to rain. When they say rain, it's going to rain, bitch.
Is that what it is,
It's
Brian?
going to rain.
Resident meteorologist over there.
He's not only a sound guy.
Also a meteorologist.
Yeah. So welcome. Thanks for doing this today.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So tell us about Greater Good.
Oh, wait. But first,
what
are their roles of the brewery?
Oh, yeah. What's your roles of the breweries? Yeah. People don't know them. Yeah.
The inquiring minds want to know. I'm the CEO here.
Woohoo.
And I am our beer and brand evangelist.
A way better title.
It's
What the hell is that? It means everything and nothing all at once.
I love it. Typical.
I already like this. You're in front of your CEO and you're like, it means nothing, but it means everything.
But it means everything.
Yeah.
He's like our total like Swiss Army knife. JT, I think, has worn every hat that can be worn, not just the merch that we sell, but like every hat.
Yes.
Including our moose head when he dresses up as Chugs, our mascot.
Cool.
Counts as a hat.
legitimately wears many hats.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
All the merch and the mascot head. So
Yeah.
So, Colleen, you're relatively new to the CEO role, so congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
What's it like being the new CEO of Greater Good?
I mean, it's been awesome. So I joined Greater Good back in January, initially as the chief commercial officer. So overseeing all of our revenue driving functions, our tap room, sales, marketing, basically anything that wasn't actually making beer. But I had consulted for Greater Good last year, and Paul was kind of thinking about his succession planning and taking a step back. Paul's our founder. And, so the plan was kind of like in process of eventually taking over as CEO. I thought eventually was going to be a little bit longer than like, hey, you've been here almost 6 months. Let's give you the CEO
You can
title.
run this.
Here's the keys.
So I took over as CEO in July, absorbed our ops team as well. And, I was already working super closely with those guys anyway. And, you got to make sure that, what we're innovating on and new beers that are coming out are going to be what, meets demand. So it was already pretty collaborative at that point anyway. And I've overseen, managed other brewers and stuff. I'm not a brewer by trade. So, but I like to say I know enough to be dangerous and enough to call them on some stuff that seems a little suspect. So, but they're a great team, so they're easy to manage.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity, where have you been before this?
So I spent most of my career in craft beer at a company called Craft Brewer Alliance. We owned 8 breweries around the United States. Kona was our largest.
Yep.
Cisco Brewers regionally here in the Northeast was one of my breweries. And then we got acquired by Anheuser-Busch, so I worked there for a little while. Then I said, this is not where I want to be. Peaced out, started my own consulting firm where I was able to consult with a bunch of other breweries around the U.S., Greater Good being one of them. And, I wasn't necessarily thinking I was going to join back immediately that closely, full-time at a brewery. But, the team, the beers, and just the fact that we do something completely different here at Greater Good as the first and only all Imperial Brewing company, I was like, all right, not going to find another one out there.
Right?
It's one of one. So
kind of like just when I thought I was out, they bring me back.
Exactly. And somehow convinced me to move from North Carolina to Massachusetts in January. So clearly the draw was there. These guys were doing something right to convince me to make that move. Yeah. But winter was tough.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And it's coming.
It is coming. Yeah.
Yes, it keeps coming.
Listen, we are not sponsored by HBO Max right now. We know there's a new show coming out, but if you do want to sponsor us with that,
if they want to.
Yeah.
All I see is 60% discount codes for that. So I think they might need some love.
Yes.
Use the promo code brewery. It's for 60% off. Yeah.
Promo code all Imperial.
Yeah. All Imperial. We'll split 50-50. There we go.
There we go.
I like that. CEO of Brewer, CEO of Greater Goods. We got this.
Yeah.
I don't call myself the CEO.
It's kind of a weird title in this industry. That's why I'm always CEO, super quietly.
I work at the brewery.
Yeah.
JT, how'd you get into beer?
So I got into beer. I was working in marketing for a company called TSG Enterprises, doing a lot of digital content, web administration work, and just put the feelers out somewhere around 2015, and ended up. I think it was probably luck of the draw. I like to think it was my credentials and my resume, but I applied at Trillium Brewing Company and landed a job there for a couple of years. And then my brother-in-law was building the bar here, and when I was looking to move closer to home, he was like, I got this guy that's building this pretty big brewery for a startup in Worcester, right down the street from where I grew up in Spencer. So I met Paul. We hit it off pretty much immediately. Other than our brewer, I was our first hire, so I did everything from run the tap room when we first started to marketing, sales, everything that you need in a startup.
Paul has 3 daughters, so I think JT is the son he never had.
That's what it is. Yes.
Yeah, I really played into that.
Play that up.
Smart. Yeah.
Did you call him dad? No, I'm just kidding.
Where do you think Pulp Daddy came from?
Right. So, do you know the concept? Why
Imperial
want
beers?
Imperial beers only?
I mean, JT, you can certainly add, but he just really liked big beers and, wasn't finding much out in the market that kind of checked what he was looking for in an Imperial beer. I think a lot of them had kind of a harsh, boozy, afterburn, all the bourbon barrel aged stuff that it's if I want an old fashioned, I'll drink an old fashioned.
Right.
And so he just was like, all right, maybe I can make something better than what's out there, and let's give it a whirl. And started kind of playing around home brewing for a while, and then kind of started the brewery opposite of how basically every other brewery starts. He started with contract brewing, no facility, and went straight to distributors to say, hey, is this going to resonate out in the market instead of doing any self distro? Yeah. And so commercial distributing out in Western Mass was our first distributor, and everything that he was dropping off was selling through crazy quickly. So I guess he was.
What were the first beers? Do you know?
Yeah, so our first 5 beers, catch me if I'm wrong, JT, were what we call our Passport series. They're all inspired by different locations. Mm-hmm. So we've got Greylock, a 12% IPA. We have Citra, which was originally, I think, an Imperial Saison, but now has morphed over years, as many things have, into a Belgian IPA. Because,
sounds cooler.
Right? Yeah. Quadruple in sales by putting that IPA Nike swoosh tag on it kind of deal. We have a Russian Imperial Stout named Ivana, a German cherry alt beer.
German-inspired ale now.
German-inspired ale. We dropped the alt beer.
That's a good.
No one knows what an alt
that
beer
inspired
is.
is very crucial now in the.
Inspired, called Helena, and then Goodnight Moon, a London porter kind of deal. So we did like 5 different styles, all with 5 different ABVs. So it was 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 to kind of because Paul had to take a mad science approach to like, let's see which styles and ABVs and what works and. And they all resonated, so we still brew all 5 of those.
Cool.
Not all of them being year round, but yeah, those were the OGs.
Yeah. Why are people getting these big bodied beers?
I mean, they taste good. I think first and foremost.
Sold.
Like, does anyone need a better answer than that?
But actually, I mean, when your initial entry to the market is through distribution, and it's just a can. Well, taking a risk, right?
Not really.
Yeah, but people want, I think, the boozy beers kind of, right? They're looking at the ABV, you're like, oh, this looks
So
good,
yeah,
right?
and doing it all through initially packaged. Like, I mean, I think we're the only brewery probably that you might talk to that has a higher percentage of our sales in the on-premise today than we did pre-pandemic. We were very heavily skewed towards package.
Yeah.
Because it's more of an at-home drinking occasion because there's only so many 12% Grey Locks you're going to drink out at a bar before you have to drive home.
Drive home, yeah.
Hopefully, drink responsibly, everyone.
Yes.
So I think it actually worked really well in, a packaged product distro kind of lineup. But yeah, I mean, JT,
I think the can art also, it's kind of an understated thing with beer a lot these days is that the can art's actually really cool. So while it's called the Passport Series because it's inspired by different regions of the world. So like the porter is a London porter that has, the London skyscape on it. You got Greylock, which is a New England IPA. It's got Mount Greylock, which resonated with a lot of people in Western Mass. So like the Citra is the Belgian style beer that has, Brussels or some city in Belgium. So a lot of the can art's really, really cool. So that's one like kind of understated thing that helps it pop off the shelves. But another thing that Paul really thought about was the feedback he was getting from his friends, which were like, I'm buying all these new beers every week. I'm spending all this money on beers that are, 4 or 5%. At the end of the day, when I'm really thinking about where my money's going, like I'm going to end up wanting to go back to something that's a little heavier than a 4% beer that I'm maybe spending 15 to 16, 20 sometimes dollars on.
So the price point,
Yeah, so I think that there's a price conscious consumer that, is like, well, I liked that one a lot and it's 8% or it's 9%. So I'm only having one versus, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So consulting for a brewery that's like, we only do Imperial beers. Is that like
scary?
Hey, do you maybe want to not just do that or?
No, I very much respected the discipline to never waver from that. I think too many breweries aren't disciplined in branding and differentiation. And I think it's really tough to stay true to that when like the market might be moving or there's like non-alc or low everything. Everyone's talking about session IPAs or whatever, and to stay true to like what this crazy point of differentiation was. I was like, continue to preserve that. But actually, like, I mean, you asked like, was it hard to consult? The general like kind of framework and thought process for what's going to make a brewery successful, you can apply that to a brewery that's also doing a very niche targeted thing. Like you have to have good structure to your portfolio and make sure that like, when I got here, we skewed way too heavy towards just hazy IPAs. And I was like, are we the all Imperial IPA company or are we the all Imperial company?
Right.
And so product diversity and brand priorities and balancing of what's just for the tap room versus what are we going to take to distro, like those same principles still apply here. It's just with an all Imperial twist on it.
I can definitely notice that Tide twist because for a while, I agree, seeing just crazy big IPAs and I mean, keeps the lights on. I get it. I get it. It's not, but keeping that true to brand style. That's cool.
Yeah. So now we're getting to like what I really like now is like we get to innovate with stuff that is traditionally not Imperial, right? Like we're going to launch an Imperial Blonde coming up. We've got our new sour series, which has been going crazy for us this year. And those are styles that like you don't typically see at like 8 or 9%.
No.
Yeah.
And that to me is like us pushing the boundaries of what Imperial beers can and should be in a really cool and fun way.
Excellent.
Definitely.
All right. So we want to get into what people may know you for outside of being just Imperial beer, but we have a word from our sponsors. Take it away, Sun Guy Ryan.
Did you know that your favorite Massachusetts breweries use hops from a local family-owned hop farm right here in Massachusetts?
Our friends over at 4 Star Farms are there for you whether you're a commercial brewery or a small batch home brewer.
Make sure to head over to their website today and get your hands on some of the best and freshest hops available locally. Cheers.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family-owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWROOTS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service for craft beer lovers. Each month, Shirts on Tap partners up with 7 different breweries from across the country and collaborates on a sweet custom shirt design. We've been teamed up with Shirts on Tap since the inception of the podcast and are proud to announce a new promo code for all of our listeners. To get your first shirt for $5 off, go to the link in our description below and use the promo code. And remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts. All right, so we're back.
We never left.
We've always been here and always will.
Always will be. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for giving us.
I don't know about you guys, but I got a lot done during that break.
Yeah. It was crazy.
You set up your cot because apparently you're always going to be here. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're talking about an Imperial Oktoberfest. It was crazy. Don't want to spoil anything, but no. So what are the beers that you're most known for?
Pulp Daddy.
Definitely the Pulp Daddy.
Yeah,
for sure. I would you say about 50% of what we're doing right now is the Pulp Daddy.
You always have tanks full of it.
Yeah, multiple.
Yeah.
And
Brew it 2
it's-
or 3 times a week.
Yep.
Yeah, they could brew with their eyes closed at this point for sure.
Yes.
Every market that we're in, you'll find the Pulp Daddy, and it's probably the first beer that you'll find in those markets.
But Greylock is our clear second punch, so that we're not one trick pony.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Greylock was one of the first beers we ever made. It's our biggest beer at 12%. And dangerously drinkable, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It goes down way smoother than a 12% IPA should. And, I think with those local tie-ins, it does really well in Massachusetts. So those are our top 2 brands for sure. And then this year we, released our seasonal series for the first time. Or we started it back in 2021. I'm getting all the years mixed up now. But this was our first full year running the seasonal program. And so our summer seasonal went crazy big. It was called Big Summer, big beer.
Yeah,
Big
right.
Good name. Good name.
Got to be really overt.
Really
with things.
original.
Yeah, we racked our brains hard on that one. But it went gangbusters for us.
Love it.
Everyone was
Love
loving it. Awesome pineapple IPA. Also
Cool.
super sippable.
Nice.
If you're at a beach, pool, whatever. And then the Funk series is our sour series that we just launched this year. And we release a new fruited sour every 2 months, and that's been going really well. We're just finishing blueberry lemonade.
Yep.
And,
Kettle souring or
kettle souring.
Cool.
And coming in a week or so will be peach cobbler.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. So having some fun with that.
Are you doing some kind of an Imperial Fest or something? I know you have an event, but beer style wise.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
are.
so we
Okay.
have Imperial Fest coming up, which will
JT's the mastermind of it, so he can
Tell us more, JT.
Yes, it's on September 17th here at the brewery. Actually, that parking lot you guys came through will be a giant, wedding style event tent.
Nice.
You'll
Love
see
it.
30 breweries underneath it.
JT's eyes lit up. This is your.
You got
this
really
is your
excited.
brainchild. I see it.
I'm waiting to talk about it. I haven't talked about it enough. But we'll have food trucks, live music. Like I said, 30 different breweries. Everybody is being asked to feature at least 1, maybe 2 Imperial beers that are either in their catalog or new beers. I know a couple places will be debuting Imperial beers there. So we're expecting to see a wide range, given the Imperial fashion of the fest. We're seeing a wide range of beers there, but a really cool kind of aspect to it is that we being a brew pub here, we can tap other breweries' beer. So
you have that fancy license.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that fancy. It's kind of it's best of both worlds.
Yeah. It works when it works.
But we'll have a fan vote at the end for fun, but also for a draft line at the brewery for a month. So
that's cool.
The winning brewery, quote unquote, of the best Imperial beer will get a draft line here at the brewery.
For a month. Yeah. Yeah, nice. So we're excited about that, and that's when we're gonna release the Imperial Blonde that I was mentioning.
Okay.
Wanting to again do something fun and new for that type of event, the reception just when we posted about it, like I think some of our most engagement on social media, we had people calling us up, and then like when we released tickets to sale, like we sold out like, almost in like the first like,
it was like 200
3
tickets.
days.
Wow.
And then we released some
That's
more.
Crazy.
I said, JT, I think we're going to need a bigger tent.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna need a bigger tent.
Exactly. And so I mean, it's going to be. We're pumped about it. I think it's going to be pretty big. Like,
what are some of the breweries that are coming? Just to name a few.
Oh, geez, off the top of my head. I mean, we got a lot of the.
I feel like I'm back in radio. Yeah. It's like, tell us who the headliners are. Come on.
So I mean, I could rattle some off. All the places here locally in Worcester are going to be in attendance. We want to invite all of our friends, but then some other places from out of state as well. I mean, there's some Boston area like Untold is going to be here. Second Wind will be here. Out of state, we'll have Proclamation here. Mass Landing, Single Cut will be here. So there's a really good list of breweries that'll be in attendance.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Who would have thought Worcester?
Right?
No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
No. But the thing is, it's like Worcester. There's a number of good breweries, right? We got Redemption Rock, a smaller one, right? We got Wormtown. We got you. I mean, there's kombucha, and
there's a bunch of
I'm
places
missing another brewery.
Yeah.
I know that, but
Bay State's across town. Then they have Double Down, which
Double Down.
So with all of us becoming a community here, I mean,
and even just outside of Worcester, there's quite a few.
Oh, if you were to expand it to Central Mass, obviously you've got some.
Yeah, you have a ton of.
You got even
here.
West Springfield. I mean, it's like
That's
right
way
there.
Far away.
It's really not.
Not like coming from somebody who worked in Boston for 2 years at a brewery. Like they think that Worcester is like the Berkshires.
Yeah,
it's true.
Really, without traffic, it's 25, 35 minutes.
I mean, coming from somebody who lived on the West Coast for a while, like states are tiny up here. Everything's close. It's all good.
We've talked to breweries, and they're like,
who are away.
One in Texas that was like,
the closest brewery.
Our favorite
2-3 hours away.
Our favorite lager brewery is 2 hours away. I was like, my favorite's like 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
I can get across the entire state.
Was it Stockdollar?
Okay. That might have been it.
Yeah. Stockdollar. They are good. Yeah. But they were like, one of our favorite breweries. It's like in the middle of nowhere.
It just blows our minds. It's like, wow, you have to travel that far for beer, huh?
When I was consulting, I traveled, like I did like a little bit of a 6 to 8 months of like no bad life for a while. I just threw all my shit in storage.
Awesome.
And cruised around and visited a ton of breweries, trying to stir up some like consulting business and just enjoy my life.
It was weird. Who does that?
After being cooped up for COVID, I was like ready to just hit the road. So I literally went like all around the country.
That's awesome.
Like 20,000 miles on my car in like 6 months.
That's awesome.
Well, obviously you're in Massachusetts. We must have the best beer scene, right?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
I'm saying that with the straightest of faces.
She is, though. She is.
No, of course New England has an awesome beer scene.
Yeah. So when we talk about like the mass beer scene, right, there's obviously rules and regulations that go into it. Any frustrating ones for you?
I mean,
no happy hour.
Yeah. Those.
Right?
Yeah.
That's actually the first time we've heard that one.
I don't know. I should have an answer to this, but at this point, it's like just tickets to the game, right? Like you can't, you just got to work around it. It is what it is.
There's worse places, I mean,
totally. I mean, I've worked with places in the South. Way tougher than like up around here.
This brewery could never exist in like Salt Lake City. Like
no,
Utah.
we would be like even chased out of the state.
Yeah, literally.
Because like there's ABV laws in other states.
I've been in some of those states when like the laws were flipping over, like in Virginia and Tennessee. Like, I mean, and it's crazy. Like, I mean, when I was living in Virginia originally, like you couldn't sell beer out of your tap room. Yeah. Like you could sell tours and then like give a
sample
taster
beer at the end, or you could sell tokens that people could
redeemable,
use, or you could get like just multiple like banquet licenses day after day to be able to do stuff. Like that stuff's like way worse. So like
that is way
with those other data points, right, of like what it could be. Like I don't know. I don't think it's that bad up here.
And there's something to be said for coming out of COVID. There's like the restrictions we had during COVID and everything that was going on during.
Yeah.
Well, lucky for you, you guys were able to have food. Like you had a restaurant on site.
Yeah, we actually flexed like that. COVID kind of forced our hand into that. Also, if you came here 3+ years ago, it was very much like a brewery. You walk up to the bar, you grab a beer. There's a lot of that, and it's always been kind of in our goals to become. We're a brew pub, like I said, like a premier brew pub in the region as well. We saw that as like kind of an opportunity that you go to a place like the Pacific Northwest, maybe like San Diego. There's brew pubs with fantastic food, sit down, all over the place.
I know it's such a foreign concept in this area. I mean,
there's a lot of places that are like, why would I do food?
Why would I do food?
Like, I make great beer. Why would I do food with it?
Right.
We think you're totally capable.
I don't know, to keep people around longer.
Not everyone drinks beer.
Yeah. Statistics do say like if there's food and beer, they'll stick around for a while.
But I think as a brew pub license, JT, like aren't we capped at 12% ABV?
It's around there, yeah. So we might be maxing out.
If we flip to a farm brewer's license, we can go up a few more percentages. So obviously that's crossed our mind.
That is interesting.
Were seltzers a force of the hand because of COVID, or why did seltzers come to play for you?
I don't know the history of why we started them. They predate me being here.
Everyone started doing them, so
I think right now I see them more as a tactical tap room play.
Yeah.
We sell a good chunk of them in the tap room. We don't do a ton of distro with them because we're not doing them in variety packs. And I think to like really play ball in the seltzer space, you got to be in a variety pack.
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. Polar Seltzer doesn't do a variety pack, and they should. Not like the alcoholic one, but like
the regular one.
The regular one, yeah.
Well, regular seltzers, I think, have gotten away, not variety pack. But like alcoholic seltzers, like
they need to be.
It's
because like a party thing. You buy
80% of the business is like variety pack.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
But I don't know where did the brainchild for seltzers come from?
One of the big questions we were getting a lot was like gluten free and stuff like that. People that wanted a low cal option, even though we were making like even the session IPA, like a New England IPA, even if it's a session, is going to be if you're focusing on calories.
Yeah, you don't want to look at that.
No.
So there was a brief period of time where we were selling local cider here. For pours, and once we, kind of came to the conclusion that we could do a seltzer at first contract, a seltzer that was 8% and drinkable, then that kind of keep all that in house and serve people something that was made by Greater Good.
Yeah.
And then our marketing manager, Abby, loves our seltzers. So right now, I also just think we make them just for her.
And for the slushy machine.
Oh, yeah. They're a good slushy
Everyone
base.
loves a slushy machine.
But I think our sours make a better slushy
Yes.
base. Personally,
probably.
we make some.
Probably.
But you're allowed to have the slushy machine because of the brew pub license.
Well, I think you
right?
could do a beer slushy. But a beer slushy is a little more complicated, especially with like the New England style. You get a lot of like settlement.
Yeah.
So that's why like the sours that don't have a ton of hops in them, those are really good base for the slushies, and also the seltzers are a really great base for the slushies. And we can mix in like I think I saw some grenadine back there, so they make like slushy kind of cocktail.
Yeah, it's like
nice.
Cocktail inspired.
Yeah,
cocktail inspired.
Yes.
They have a good time like creating a new recipe almost every day.
Yeah, it's fun for the staff.
Yep, especially when it's 95 degrees out, like it has been this summer.
And when I'm sitting at my office, aka a table in our tap room, and
Table 8,
just like samples of the day's slushy just happen to land on my table.
Oh, wow. Where did it come from?
It's a tough life.
It is.
Other CEOs get like the iPhone before it comes out. You get slushies. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Slushy.
I update my phone like once every 5 to 10 years. I feel like
Nice.
I'm not that person.
Yeah, so the slushy is good enough.
That's awesome.
So one thing I have to say is when I've come here, I feel like your staff's very educated. Is that important? Was that important from the top down to have like good educated staff?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. When you go to the brewery, those should be the most knowledgeable people. Like myself, I work with a lot of the local places. We try and bring staffs from bars in here and educate them as well. But I know Meredith has, one of our brewers, Meredith Mcnamara, has recently started taking up like more of a hands-on role with educating the staff from a brewer's perspective.
Yeah, doing more like sensory training, even
That's
stuff
awesome.
on like perfect pour, right?
Yeah.
Like beyond just the beer styles and knowing stuff about that, like knowing why some of that is important, just like ups their game a little bit more. And
Definitely.
the staff's super on board with it. They like learning that stuff, so it's win-win.
Yeah.
So let's talk about.
Wait, I've got one thing.
Okay.
We're going to segue into.
Okay, let's segue.
We are definitely going to get it.
I know we
whatever
are.
you're going to.
Where are we riding this segue?
We're riding this one. So I was talking about the staff being educated, but does your staff have to be a little bit more vigilant? with the. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you draw your like.
No,
That's a really common question.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, that's the only reason that I was making whatever look that I was at you.
But it's, let's face it, 10,
Yep.
11, 12% beers. Before we get into this, I'll let you think about it. Word from our sponsors.
Yep.
Take it away, Ryan.
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brute sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer. So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
Well, we solved world peace and hunger in that break. So
And thirst.
So thank you, Greater Good.
Thanks to Greater Good.
Yeah, thanks for Greater Good. But the hard-hitting question that I'm sure you get asked all the time.
Yeah, tough question, right? Like, we're an all Imperial Brewery, so obviously people are drinking high ABV stuff at the tap room. How do our bartenders handle that? Are people getting drunk all the time? Like, what happens? And my answer is like, no, we don't limit the number of pours that people have. Our staff is all like serve safe trained, tips, trained, all of that, so that and they're empowered, right? Like, if they see somebody getting too intoxicated, they're calling them out, they're getting a manager involved. But we're still a brewery at the end of the day. Like, I mean, people aren't coming to brewery environments and getting, as crazy shit-faced as they would at a normal bar or club or whatever. So we don't run into those issues that often. I mean, sure, it's come up, from time to time, but the staff's empowered. They're on top of handling it. Our managers are great, but our customers are also just pretty respectful people.
That's cool.
They're not going crazy. We probably get
8% beer.
Yeah, we probably get more beer to go sales than most places, because somebody might pop in for like one drink or two and then like leave with a few 4-packs, a case of beer, and we're like, all right, we'll take that all day, every day.
Right.
So
sure.
we don't run into issues.
Yeah. The only thing I think you guys should have is cots or like hammocks. Yeah, like orange, just like
safety areas.
No, not even that. Just like, I have one. I'm like, I need a nap. Like, that's just me though. Like, yeah.
I know. Well, you said that you were staying here forever, so we've got your cot.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, some breweries have a mug club. You have a cot club.
No, we have a very, very loyal mug club. Our mug club members are like, the best. They're, hardcore regulars. We do give them mug-sized pours of our Imperial beers.
Those are hearty people.
So
good for them.
They have done their work.
Seriously, though.
To master it.
Yes. What do you guys do for your mug club? Like, what else?
I mean, the mug size pour is like probably where the
that's an incentive.
That's definitely
financially
incentive.
savvy people look at it and go like, well, I can get a couple extra ounces every time I'm here.
Yeah, right.
Because I have my mug, but also they get discounts on merch. They get access to like early beer releases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like when we did the Imperial Fest tickets, they had a day early access to that, so we can make sure that.
In part because I got cornered at the tap room one day.
Are
you doing this?
Like,
what are you doing?
are these tickets like going on sale at midnight or at like 9 a.m. or whenever? And I was like, I don't know. When do you want them on sale? They were like, we're scared they're going to sell out
right now.
And I was like, all right, I'll just like have Abby send you guys an email a day before and let you buy tickets a day sooner. Like, so I mean, it's just a really like tight knit crew with the regulars.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
the Worcester community. This is a nice space. I mean, family friendly.
Yeah.
So I mean, you host events here, right?
Yeah, we have live music every weekend. This will be our third event, I believe. We had the Father's Day one, and then one before that.
We did our anniversary.
Party, out in the parking lot. So that parking lot that you guys parked in, like that's more space than a lot of people have in Worcester.
Yeah,
any city in general.
It's true.
So it's really cool for us to be able to host people here at the brewery instead of finding a venue offsite.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're kind of outside of downtown. We're really close to downtown, but we're outside of it to the point where the traffic's not crazy.
Yeah, but the best thing is you're right off the highway.
Yep, right off of 190 and 290 also is huge to get people who maybe who traditionally aren't trying to come from the surrounding towns, the smaller, more rural towns to come into the city. You don't have to go downtown. You can just pop off the highway and you're at Greater Good.
Yeah. How many years has Greater Good been open to the public?
Since we started as a brewery in 2016.
Yeah.
We opened here in
March of 2018.
18. I always say 17 for some reason.
We were in-house. We were putting tanks in 2016.
Yeah.
2017 might
Probably
have been
because
when they
I've
wanted to
seen
open.
the lease. And,
the lease started and like a lot of the contracts were signed. And
Where do you see you going next? I mean, I know that there is a brand within a brand here.
Yeah, you guys do session beer now. Why have a session beer project?
So I would not describe that as like where we are going next.
No. These are kind of two different questions, I guess.
Separately addressed.
Separate questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can in a moment get to where we're going next.
Yes.
Bigger and is the answer there. But on the sessions, Sole Purpose is our sessions only brand. And again, I think similar to the seltzers in a lot of way, I think of it as a really tactical, more taproom oriented play. Want to keep butts in chairs longer.
Yeah.
Don't be like serving them exclusively 12% beers and then having them leave after a pour or two. So I think Sole Purpose beers, even though we only have like normally 2 or 3 on draft at any given time, probably represent close to 30% of our taproom sales.
Wow.
Wow.
Because again, on premise or in a taproom setting,
you have a few of those.
Yeah, you want to or throttle kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
I'll have one of your high ABV ones, and then jump down to Crush Groove, which I think JT's drinking right now. So I think of that really as like a tactical play for us. We distributed a little bit here in Central Mass and Western Mass, but most of our distributors don't. We're not trying to have them push Sole Purpose brands because we want them hyper focused on the thing that we think most differentiates us, which is the big beers, and that's like what our bread and butter is. But it is certainly a good tool to make sure that we have that option for people that don't want to just be crushing 12% Greylocks all afternoon.
Tempting.
Yeah, actually, the Crush Groove was one of the first beers we did here, and we anticipated it being, the taproom only kind of brand.
Yeah.
You come here, some people are like, well, I wish I could have more than one, but I'm kind of a lightweight or something like that. We had the Session IPA was one of the first beers that we brewed, and then we quickly realized that people wanted to take it home. They wanted to bring it home in cans, and some of our retail partners wanted it as well. So that's why you see it locally a little bit, but it started as just like a line of beers and turned into like kind of a mini brand of ours.
Yeah.
But we very intentionally separate brand. We were never going to launch a Greater Good Session IPA because that would be against the
your religion, if you will.
Well, exactly.
So, do you guys feel forced that you had
to...
Shut up.
Oh, so good.
Ryan's a little fish boy.
Sorry.
Do you guys feel forced that you had to create that separate brand because of what you've already limited yourself being, which is an Imperial big beer brewery, right? Instead of just being, let's say, Bill and Bob Brewery, right, who does everything.
And can casually release a session IPA or a Pilsner or something without having to overthink it, right?
Yeah, did you feel like you had to create a separate brand? And we've seen this before. Jack's Abbey, Schilling has done it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, Paul felt like he had to create a separate brand for that. But I'm so thankful that he did because it allowed us to say discipline to this point of differentiation. So I think forced sounds like we were handcuffed. I think it was the right business move to do it under a separate brand. Yeah. And certainly we had to think about that where other breweries don't have to. But we also get to think about us being the only one of something when everyone else has to think about oh damn, I have basically the same beer portfolio as the other 8,000 to 9,000 breweries out there. That shit doesn't keep me up at night. I'd much rather think about Sole Purpose, great, just throw it under there. That's not that type of a thought exercise at this point for us, right?
But there's no plans to have a Sole Purpose tap room.
We've debated it.
We've been approached about it. I brainstormed.
I support that decision.
So, and to be honest, we still kind of debated it a little bit back and forth. So I'll never say never on something, but I think with it as a right now playing as a like tactical play for a tap room and like just giving the people what they want in certain settings and occasions makes a ton of sense. When we start trying to like get behind sole purpose in a way of like another tap room, then that's basically like we are running two different companies, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's double the investment to grow the marketing and the brand awareness for that and all that. And I'm like, would I rather, if I had $1 extra to spend for like sales and marketing and investing behind the brand, like where would I put that? And right now I would put that all on Greater Good because that's where the trends are moving. Higher ABV stuff as a segment is growing. It's like low, like non-alc is growing and high ABV stuff is growing and kind of the middle is getting
It's weird, right?
a little bit right now.
Yeah.
So like I'll put that dollar on Greater Good
you'd
versus splitting that dollar across sole purpose and Greater Good and get more out of it.
Yeah.
You'd also be better off just opening another Greater Good tap room, which also does.
Can I have you talk to Paul, our founder?
Hey, whatever. Yeah, sure.
So what's in the cards next?
Another Greater Good tap room.
So we're definitely looking to continue to grow and expand. Our stated ambition is I want to see us get to a 50% share of the high ABV marketplace. So 1 out of every 2 beers above 8% should be a Greater Good beer in my future desired, utopia.
I love it.
And we want to do that in the right way, so not spread ourselves too thin too fast. And so I want us to hit those metrics kind of within our existing footprint before we jump too far. But I think this concept, you don't really hear, it's almost like a faux pas to talk to a brewery who wants to like go national or go bigger right now.
Yeah.
But because we're not running by the same playbook, because we specialize in just a certain segment of craft rather than kind of running the like hyper local to regional to concentric circle kind of growth.
Yeah.
Like we're not playing that same growth kind of playbook that most other breweries are. So I think geographic expansion is certainly on the table for us, but we're going to do that in the right way at the right time so that our team isn't spread thin and we're able to invest the right amount of money and energy behind every new market. But yeah, getting to that 50% share, total domination of the Imperial market.
Domination.
I love it.
That's what we're shooting for.
No, I think it's cool because you are trying to re-educate people what Imperial actually means.
That's a great talking point for all of us here.
Yes.
It's like there's still a certain amount of the consumer that's like, oh, Imperial, like what's that mean? Even
Bourbon
we
barrel,
obviously know,
yeah.
all of us here know what Imperial means, but out at a tasting or at a beer fest, people who might be a little more casual to the beer industry are like,
You mean fancy?
yeah, it's like royal.
Yeah, exactly.
Royal.
Yeah, royalty.
Yeah.
We did do a bunch of consumer research at the beginning of this year with a research firm that I had partnered with in the past, which confirmed that most people don't know what the word Imperial means.
Yep.
Which could be like a freaking dagger to your heart, right? When you're an all Imperial brewing company.
What does Imperial mean?
8% or above, my friend.
Yeah.
But because of that, we were able to kind of tighten what our like brand messaging looked like. So now we talk about the brand much more as big, bold, strong, or bigger, bolder, stronger than a typical brewery.
Imperial.
Yeah, so trying to get away
Royalty?
from that word Imperial when we're talking to consumers because that's not like speaking their language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Cool.
I like that.
Cool.
I mean, there's been so many things that have been reinvented over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we'll just slap IPA on everything. Like
That works every time.
cold IPA.
sadly
yeah.
does. Hey,
Yeah.
we're coming soon to Greater Good. An
Imperial Cold IPA.
Imperial cold.
I love it.
We are talking about that.
Why not?
It's on our innovation lineup, and I'm jazzed about it because I love the IPL days,
Yeah.
I love
Right.
the hoppy lager days. It's just
Exactly.
coming full circle. So I can't wait for us to release
For
that
sure.
beer.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Colleen and JT, thank you for doing this today.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for stopping
Appreciate
by in the rainstorm.
Oh, no problem.
Anytime.
We needed to remind ourselves what rain looked like in this area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and now you're drinking like big beers while it's raining out. It's
Yeah.
the perfect weather.
Big storm,
It's
big rain.
perfect.
Exactly.
Was drinking.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to refill.
Was.
Well, thank
get you covered.
Yeah, thank you again for doing this. Where are you physically located? And yes, we know you can plug it into your GPS, but it's fun for you to say.
Jeepus.
Yeah, we're at 55 Millbrook Street in Worcester, Massachusetts. So like you were saying, right off both the highways that come through this area and just outside the city. Worcester's going through a little bit of a renaissance in the past few years, so definitely come check us out. Online at Instagram, it's Greater Good Imperials, Greater Good Brew on Twitter, and obviously our website is greatergoodimperials.com.
Are you on TikTok yet?
We
are on
are.
TikTok. Yeah, I should. Abby will kill me.
JT, when he is dressed as Chugs, our mascot, is often featured on TikTok.
star.
Yeah.
He's a TikTok celebrity.
I love it.
You dab and do all the stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
And you guys usually open Monday through Friday or weekends as well, Monday through Sunday?
Yeah.
Tuesday through Sunday.
Okay.
6 days a week.
6 days.
We take
Like
one day.
most other breweries, I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
hours
don't
you were
know.
like. Are you giving like Google's office hours or something like that? Yeah.
You have the big breweries. She's gonna have the ones that only open during the weekdays.
Just exclusively Monday open.
Yeah.
No,
She's
don't
drunk.
know.
Ignore her. Monday market.
Yeah.
Tuesdays through Sundays, we open at noon every day of
Love it.
those 6 days of the week, and
Fabulous.
then we close at various normal times to close.
Cool.
Well, I'm very excited for your festival.
Yeah.
This episode will probably be getting released right around then. So,
Swing on through.
tickets might be sold out, but
No, we
You
can
might
probably
have a
find couple.
connection.
cool.
Don't tell. Oh wait, we're on air.
Cut it.
Don't tell the Mug Club.
I will not. You guys will suffer.
We've got a couple for giveaways that we'll be doing on social and stuff like that,
That's awesome.
and for important friends of the fam.
F&F discounts.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what that means.
Friends and family.
Oh.
Friends and family discount.
Duh, man.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.